Hello, and welcome to episode 21 of Gaymers Assemble, the queer gaming podcast that you never thought you needed, didn't really want, and yet here we are in your faces for the 21st time. I think it's actually the 22nd time, because there was that episode that we forgot to record and then sort of recorded, and we don't talk about that one. 21st
I don't know
time.
what you're talking about. There was episode 4, and then there was episode 5.5. There was no episode 5. Never
Right.
happened.
We just can't count.
No. Math.
Hi, and welcome. I am your host, Llama. Nice to meet you. And you'll notice we have a new face here who we'll come to in just a second. So hold that thought. Shh. I'm going to first introduce our techno mage, who's always here all the time, on the buttons, on the mic, Beardy, the Weirdy, right there.
Hello.
And my favorite new co-host, who's our first new co-host, a tradition we hope to start, bringing more and more people on with us. This is one of my favorite murdery stabby friends from the murder crew. It is my favorite friend, Faith. Hi, Faith.
Hey, how you doing?
Super duper good. So, Faith, you and I met, it feels like forever ago, probably 2 years ago now?
2 years, yeah. Long
Yeah.
time.
So we met playing the dumpster fire that is Fallout 76, but it's close to our hearts, isn't it?
Yeah. I pushed it a little bit farther on my heart, but yeah, definitely. It's we remember those times fondly, right?
It just works, and Todd Stewart made it fun. Well, we made our own fun.
We made it. You make your own fun. You maybe torture people a little bit, and maybe I hop on every once in a while and see how people are doing. And
yeah, so I mean, when Fallout 76 first started, the draw of the game was that it had no NPCs. So we were encouraged to play the NPCs ourselves.
Yeah.
So we played as raiders, which basically meant we griefed the shit out of everybody, because that's what Todd told us to do.
Yeah,
we were following orders, damn it, and we had fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, let's say that. I mean, I would say we had fun with it, and then the amount of hate mail that we got indicated that maybe everyone else didn't have fun, but that's okay because I made my own fun.
Yeah, I feel like the other raiders were raidering wrong,
Right?
But we did what we did.
Get good.
Get good.
Get good, scrubs. And we've since moved on to other games, and we've played lots of games with our murdery stabby crew. But Faith, how long have you been playing games? So you've been playing games for a while now?
I mean, I was thinking back. I mean, I had an Apple IIe when I was born. I mean, I didn't obviously operate it.
Like just straight out of the badge? Or?
But I mean, no, I had the original NES, and yeah, right. Just,
did your mom know, or
yeah,
she just reaching out pre-birth, like
it's like
gotta get those typing skills done now, girl.
Right. So I mean, I was thinking about it, and I think it was probably. I mean, yeah, I had an NES when I was super young, and Super Mario, the Duck Hunt, and all
fucking
the
dog.
I hated that dog. I shot the dog all the time. Everybody did. But yeah, so I mean, forever. I mean, it took a little hiatus. As far as college and all of that, because it's hard to. But yeah, forever.
Cool. Well, welcome to the crew. It's super exciting to have you here.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So I guess the first item on the gay agenda for tonight is housekeeping, and we've got a new section which I have just created called the I Stand Corrected corner, where I may have fucked something up last week, and I'm going to correct it. So last week I was waffling some shit about The Sims, and I got the right answer, but I got there wrong. So I thought it would be a good way for me to correct it by correcting it. So we were talking about The Sims and how you could have same-sex romance within The Sims. Within The Sims, that's my same-sex romance ad hoc sign language. Apologies for our VSL people. I didn't do that right. I'm sorry. It's going to be next week's correction corner. Sorry. So
that was mean to go on. Let's make a fucking list
just
now.
carry
I'm gonna
on.
get a whiteboard
Next
just here,
week,
like llama's fuck ups.
just write it down. I'll learn it. We'll figure it out for next week. It's fine. So I was talking about how they had accidentally, or they'd made it gay in the first place, made it same-sexable in the first place. And then the management were like, no, take that out. And then the producers were like, yes, keep that in. And then they like switched the memos in like some sneaky deaky way and kept it gay. I was sort of right, sort of not. So here is the actual answer. So this comes from an article from pgn.com. It's a really cool website that does lots of video gaming news. This article is called Press A to be Gay, which is the best name for an article. But they really succinctly pull it down. So when The Sims was first being developed, the creative team initially decided not to include the ability for characters to have same-sex relationships. But when the game's code actually got written, the programmer was given an old memo that did not reflect that decision, and he wound up creating the ability for characters to romance whomever they wished. Even after a kiss between two female Sims shocked the audience during a demo at the Electronics Entertainment Expo, the function was allowed to remain. The Sims went on to become a global hit and spurred many sequels, which have now sold over 200 million copies worldwide. So yeah, super gay, and that's why. So well done to them.
That's why we love The Sims.
That's why we love The Sims. The memo that changed the world. That's what we should call that. So that's the end of the I Stand Corrected corner.
We're going to need to record this.
Are we not recording the show already?
Well, no, I mean as in like just that one little bit, so then I can work it into something and just press a button in future and
press
just
a
like
button.
a little I Stand Corrected thing will happen. We'll work on that offline, don't worry.
All right. I thought this was going to be like that one episode we don't talk about where we're like, we're going to have to start over because we didn't record the episode.
I don't know what you're talking about, Lam. That never happened.
Well, don't scare me when you say we're going to have to start recording. Jesus, Beardy. Right. So upcoming shit we've got upcoming, right? That's a very smooth way to do that. So we are going to start recording the Dungeons and Dragons show on Saturday, which, as I said, we did our Zero session a couple weeks ago. It went really well. The very first thing that got shouted at the group of goblins who were coming to kill us was, "Hey, Queen!" So I think it's going to go really well. It's going to be super canon and on lore. Awesome. So that's going to happen. We've got Beardy's news show that happens every Friday. And of course, the weekly random streams. So Beardy streams, Sif has been streaming. Beardy's been streaming some really hard games and not dying an awful lot. Well done, Beardy.
Well, I mean, last night, if you'd have caught in with my little Bloodborne thing, I died quite a few times, so I wouldn't go that far.
I take it back. You suck, Beardy. Get good.
I do. I do need to get good.
Yeah. I did another stream today. And I mean, technically, it was a stream. But what really happened was I labeled it what it was, right? I labeled it as a quick daily grind while I wait for my wife to get groceries. Right? So I told on the 10, I said what it was. And I got on there, went on to Destiny, and I did like one of the daily Cabal strikes. I had one watcher person. What was it that we call them?
A viewer.
That's it. A viewer. I had a viewer who I'm sure was very dedicated. I wasn't sure. I need to work on my patter. Is that what they call like the chitter chatter?
Yeah,
I'm working. Faith, just work with me here. I'm working on it.
Pitter patters. Yep.
My pitter patters.
The thing where the mouth moves and the words.
The mouth moves and I'm talking stuff. Yeah.
Audio.
I wasn't doing very good. At one point I was singing to them.
That's so fine. I sing to my people on stream. Rick Weller will tell you that quite nicely today. We were singing Spice Girls themed Star Wars songs, so
Yeah, I don't know who my viewer was. I'm sure they will tell you how amazing my singing skills was. I was super excited because one of the people I got dropped into the strike with was called Ninja Urkel. right? Right? And that set me off on a tangent. In fact, I almost died 3 times because I was telling Urkel jokes.
Which probably the people playing it, I mean, wouldn't be of the age to even know.
Right, but I don't know how old my watcher person was. So they might have been totally into it.
They were totally into it. Let's just say that they were.
Right? So every time I would shoot a cabal, I'd be like, did I do that? And as I was like, as I was killing one of the big bosses, I was like, I'm wearing you down. I'm wearing you down. I feel like it was quality content, and I hope my viewer person appreciated it.
If they stuck around for the whole thing, they must have done.
The only thing, well, I mean, and that's where it got a bit sticky. The only thing I need to work on is how do you end a stream? Because what happened was, right, my wife got home with the groceries and she was like, oh, I need help unloading the car. And also I got McDonald's. So I was like, okay, cool. So I muted my mic because it's rude to shout at my wife while I'm talking to people like on the game because, you know, like that's not how you talk to people in game chat, is it? That's rude. And then I didn't know how to like stop the stream. So I just turned off the Xbox. Like I figured that would stop the stream.
Well, yeah, that'll do it.
So I need to work on my etiquette. So to my one viewer person, I have a lot of apologies to make. Working on it.
I just got this image in my head of you being like, so guys, just one moment, my wife has returned home. I'm just going to see what she needs. Just one moment while I just mute my audio. Hey, I'm fucking streaming! Audio on! Unmute. Sorry guys, gonna have to go now. Good night.
No, it was more like my wife unlocked the door. I put myself on mute. I was like, oh, do you need a hand? Okay. Boom. So I'm working on that. I'm not a professional streamer.
You're gonna get there. I believe in you.
Yeah.
I mean, get a jingle and some
level,
graphics.
You can only go up.
Yeah.
And I'll send you stars. Is that what you send streamers? I don't know. You send them things, right?
You send them bits.
Bits?
Share them, yeah. I mean, as in like virtual bits, not as in physical bits.
Oh. I was like, because bits means something else to me.
Mail them a tit. Like, here you go, I sent you a bit.
Because if I'm like, thanks for letting me see your bits, my wife will make me turn it off.
Oh, those kind of bits. All right.
Badger will be like, you turn that off now.
No.
Right. So the show. Yeah, we should do the show. So yeah, that's it. That's all we've got in terms of housekeeping. The show topic for today. So this is one. So the name of the show is player sexuality enough, right? This is one that I came across on Twitter at like 2 a.m. a couple weeks ago. I was strolling through shit while I was not sleeping because I very often am not sleeping. I am not sleeping much more than I should be sleeping. And I saw this sort of argument back and forth, and I found it really interesting because I couldn't make up my mind. Every time I read like a viewpoint, I was like, yeah! And then I'd read the opposing viewpoint, and I was like, oh, yeah! And then I'd read something else, and I was like, oh no, yeah! And I was like, no, actually, I'm finding this really interesting because I can kind of see lots of different views.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the purposes of the show, I tried to kind of sum up the sort of premise of the topic. And I guess it sums up to this. So in many games, player sexuality means that the decision to be gay or not to be gay is left up to the player, right? So gamers can choose to either be gay or to completely ignore the gay content if they wish. But isn't the point of storytelling, which is, you know, the medium that game creation sits in, about experiencing a story through someone else's eyes? And I mean, yeah, okay, some of the games that we play, you know, that main character is an alien blob with tentacles or genticles. I mean, no judgment. But sometimes it's a person and they have an interesting story to tell. And part of that story may be about being gay, trans, non-binary, ace, or, you know, anything along that spectrum. And that's an important part of the story. So is that fundamentally different from just giving the player the option of romancing any NPC that they come across, I guess, is the sort of question. And when you let a player romance any NPC that they come across, is that enough, I guess, in terms of LGBT representation? If you're like, you can romance the hell out of any alien, human, animal, whatever you come across, romance to your heart's delight, we're LGBTQ plus representative. Yay us. But are you, though? And I guess that as I got more and more into the topic, I became more and more confused, but more and more open to the different viewpoints. And I wasn't sure where I landed on it. And I just wanted to know, I guess, where are your guys' thoughts on it? What do you think?
Well,
open conversation.
I think it's a really important question, not only for LGBT representation, but for representation in general. Like, just to make it there, taking it back to the queer side of things, I don't know about you ladies, when you were growing up or whatever, and you came out as being gay, the one thing I always used to get is, why did you choose to do that? Like, why did you choose to be gay, choose to be lesbian, choose to be trans, whatever it is? And it brings back, on some level, that kind of dread of, like, when you choose to romance a same-sex partner, it's like, there's this tiny little thing in the back of my head that's like, that's a choice. You made a choice. Your sexuality is a choice. Like, which is a really strange thing, because 90% of the time, that's not what the developer is saying, but it's, I don't know, I feel like it's something rooted deep inside of every queer person, is that kind of nagging thing of like, you made this choice. Second thing, I think, is when you're looking at it, it needs to be done on a base by base kind of situation, or case by case, not base by base. Because if the story of the narrative is written in such a way that if you take that path of being gay, trans, whatever it is within that video game, if the story then folds in aspects of that into its narrative, then I think it's important. But if it's just a generic character A, this is nobody, and you romancing this queer person doesn't actually mean anything, just a choice, then what's the point in doing it? Because it's not really representation, is it? It's like just choosing a hairstyle, or choosing what jacket you want your character to.
Just get a different raunchy cutscene.
Exactly. And when you look at it, like, there are some games that have done it really well. So things like Dragon Age Inquisition, the romance path in there, they won loads of awards and stuff. GLAD did a thing, give them a special recognition because of its inclusion of queer characters. Some games have done it really well. Mass Effect Andromeda, whether you love it or hate it, actually had quite a good story, at least from the one that I experienced with the queer character that I had, where did a dude, you know.
And did the dude.
I did the dude, but he himself had a queer background, so he had an ex-boyfriend, and he left family behind, and had struggles with his own sexuality and everything else. Games like Gone Home, Llama, I know you love this game.
Fucking love that game.
Is a really great example. But when you're looking at them, actually, I feel like they're very few and far between. And it comes down to things like, we mentioned a little bit earlier with your Fucked It Up section, but The Sims, for me, we spoke about last week, was this only game really that I've played where it felt natural to make those decisions within that character, because the life and stuff you were building around you were all centric to this person that you've created, not just tacked on. Does that all make sense? Or have I bearded,
that makes sense.
it?
No, I think it makes sense, and I like the fact in building off of the whole, like, you know, idea of choice. Like, and I will say, like, growing up, I mean, you know, we're talking about old school NES games, and we're talking about, like, there's no representation, or at least it was retrofitted with some, you know, some like, oh, Toad doesn't have a gender, or, you know, whatever it is. You know, I mean, we've come a long way, and also remembering that, you know, a lot of our video games are not necessarily built, you know, they're done by developers of different cultures and different beliefs and backgrounds, and the fact that we've all gotten to this point, at least, I think, is a huge step. But I think that the question, when you were talking about choice, you know, like, I think of Fable, and I think about, like, you know, and actually it was funny because I grew up with that same, you know, why did you choose this? You know, why did you choose this? And I remember, actually, it's funny you say that. The first time I played Fable and I realized I had those options to, like, oh, I'm gonna romance this dude who's, laying in the gutter, and smelly, and I'm gonna do it because I always play male characters. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have this hot, gay male romance on Fable right now. But then I was like, what if he doesn't want to love this dude? And I remember I was inflicting this on this guy, and it didn't feel authentic. There was something that felt like, it was there and I was okay with it. Like, I was like, hey, I could be gay in the game, hooray, of any kind. But I remember thinking how hollow it was. Like, he wasn't expressing any interest in me until I pressed A, and said, you're going to be gay right now. And he was like, okay,
it wasn't part of his story.
Sure, you look pretty cute,
Yeah.
So it wasn't part of his narrative, right? So it wasn't part of his real true story. But that was what, 2004 to, somewhere in the 2000s, right? So, even then, now we're at, was it The Last of Us now, where there is a whole, gay storyline, and there, we've come a long way, but it's true that we're still struggling with, that these characters, these NPCs, or whatever, are hollow shells that you have to kind of say, I'm going to make you this way, but the developers still haven't been brave enough to say, this is a gay character, and if you want to have, or if they are the gay character, they're the typical stereotype trope of, like, oh, I'm going to be, whatever extreme, So, but it's interesting that you bring up that idea of choice, because it really did, it triggered my memory of, do I want to do this to this, this drunk slob in the gutter? Do I want to inflict it? Yeah, I guess. All right.
It's
but it wasn't.
interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
It's
as well, it's a little
Sorry,
bit,
go ahead.
sorry, it's a little bit like, again, speaking from my own experience of coming out and being a young queer boy and everything else, like the whole thing of like, oh, you're gay, telling a straight cis male, I'm gay. Oh, so you want to sleep with me? And then you've got that choice of like, these characters are not gay or straight or whatever. Like you said, you've got this guy who's presenting as heterosexual for the majority of the time until you hit that romance option, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, now I'm gay. Like, I don't know if
I'm gay for A.
Yeah, I'm gay for A. Like, I don't know if that's, again, just I feel like there's so many like deep-rooted scars in our stories of coming out and telling our truth and being who we were born to be, that when you look at these choices and look at these games and everything else, like it brings up these things without realizing. You don't really think about it until you get presented with a topic like this, and going away and thinking about it is like, oh my god, like, when this happens, actually it's not okay. Like, it makes me feel a certain way, but I've never thought about it before, because at the time you're just there in the game and you're doing your thing and everything else. It's like, hey, great, they've got a little pride flag. Woo, I can romance this same-sex person. They did their thing. Well done them. But then when you strip it back and look at it a little bit more, yeah, it's not where it should be.
I'm so glad you guys are saying that you're putting this much more eloquently than I was doing it in my head, because when I was reading that thread on Twitter that night in my sleep cracked out head, and when I'm playing the games and I have that little niggle in my head, you're saying it much more eloquently, but that's exactly what I'm feeling. It's that whole, that whisper in the back of your head, like, lifestyle choices. Like, like, oh, your lifestyle choices. Oh, like, it's not a fucking choice. Like, this is who I am. And when I play a video game, I know space aliens shooting rockets up planets to blow them up is, 99% probably not real.
What game
At least
is that,
not around here. I don't know. Space Academy? I haven't played that one yet.
We'll put it on the whiteboard.
Yeah, put it next week's correction corner. Fuck off. But I know that I forgot what even point I was making now. God damn it.
Sorry.
Faith was like, I hope you guys aren't super professional. And I was like, girl, don't worry.
It comes through at times. Like, you see it, there's like glimpses. Like, when you stay up too late and you see the sun rising in the morning, it's like that.
Yeah.
Just do a little bit.
No, it's just, something about that whole forcing it on another NPC has always just felt a little bit creepy to me. And I know we're in a game world, and the whole thing about the game world is we're creating our own world. But I guess something about it has just never felt quite right to me. And maybe it is linked to that whole choices and lifestyle choices, and we're not choosing to be who we are. And it's just intrinsically linked to all of that in my brain because of the experiences that we've had growing up and coming out and having to deal with all of that. And yeah, it's a lot to unpack.
I try to, there's some developers who are better at it. Rockstar, I love Rockstar for a lot of games, but they do a really bad job at it. I remember Bully, and I remember there was a part of it was this years ago, but you could kiss, the bully guy kissed other boys, he forced kissed other boys or did something like that. And I remember thinking,
shit.
do you remember that? You remember that?
No, I don't remember that game.
You got a badge for kissing other boys or something like that, and they would make weird comments. And I mean, it wasn't forcing, but it was there was something kind of creepy about it. And as a kid, you're like, yeah, I'm a bully, I'm gonna kiss you. And you thought, wow, that's my gay representation right now.
Well, look at when they released the Ballad of Gay Tony, which was just a whole game of perpetuating a stereotype of effeminate gay men,
being awful.
Yeah, and I don't know how many it sold. Let me see.
It was Ballad of Gay Tony, and it was
was that a DLC for it?
It was a DLC. Yeah, it was a download. It was awful. I mean, it was okay. I mean, but you took it as Rockstar, right? Because when you buy into the GTA genre, it's when you buy into that franchise, you accept that everyone's awful. Everyone's a little bit awful. I do remember, I think Trevor in GTA 5, I think he's bisexual. If I remember in the story mode. And it's not much better. Rockstar tries, but they have a gritty edge. But again, it's how you tell that story, right? It's how you make that character, and some of them are just not good at it. So then the question is, would you rather have it and have it be bad?
Yeah.
Would you rather have it in you think about Assassin's Creed, and the Assassin's Creed games, which have done a decent job. I mean, I've been playing
that one time.
What? Which one?
Until that one time where they forced you to have a straight romantic relationship in that one DLC.
Yeah, but Valhalla's done a decent job, in feeling somewhat authentic, because the people who come onto the NPCs that would come onto you, they are coming onto you for a reason. You know what I mean? You're not necessarily, and you have some choices, and there are some where you obviously can't interact with that way because they're not that way. So that I feel like, I've come a little bit of a ways from, Fable, where I'm like, you are all marrying me now. I don't care what you are.
I will have a person in every house.
So, I mean, it gives us it's like, anything in our culture, it's taking time. I mean, we've made strides in ways that I couldn't imagine. I mean, we all remember what it was like growing up. So it's now to be here, and to even have some authentic games, just not all. It's something.
Yeah, I think we have definitely made strides, and there have been some games that have done it really well. I think Dragon's Age Inquisition is a great example, because you could, the romance options that you had, the same-sex options, certainly on the female side, that's the branches that I took. It was part of their story. It was part of the narrative. But even on the main quest, when you're bringing, you're getting your companions, and you have to level up your companions and do their quest, you can't progress the main mission until you get Dorian on side. And Dorian, oh my God, I would die for that man, even to this day. And his story is so touching. And the way that they wrote that about, him being, and it's not even like an upfront thing, hi, I'm Dorian and I'm gay. It doesn't come out until further down the story. And then as part of that story, and you're trying to, do his mission to bring him more on side and sort of power him up in the game, as sort of the companion missions generally go. Then you find out that when his father found out he was gay, he basically put him through conversion therapy, which in that universe was called blood magic, where they tried to change his sexuality. And of course it didn't work, because conversion therapy never fucking works, because it's a goddamn travesty. And Dorian is now on a mission to make sure that nobody ever has to suffer through that bullshit again. And it's just such a well done story. And because it's part of the main quest, it's not something that you can skip through. It's not something you can option out of. And that game sold out. That's a hugely popular game that hundreds of thousands of people, millions of copies sold. I don't know where I started at hundreds. Millions of people have played this goddamn game. So millions of people will have seen that perhaps didn't know about conversion therapy, didn't know about this thing that has happened to so many people around the world, in our country, in the UK, in the US. It's not been banned in the UK. It's not been banned in the US. It still happens today, right now. Somebody's going through it. And if people have only ever seen it in this medium, in this game, suddenly it opens their eyes to something that maybe they didn't know was happening. And when they see it on the news talked about, they can suddenly go, oh, I've heard about that. And if that's the only way they can relate to it, through a video game, I'll take that. I'll take a win where I can get it. And that's the power of video game and the power of representation, which is why it's so important that it's done well when it's done. And I'd rather, when you said earlier, would you rather have it done badly or done well, or not at all? If they're going to do it, I want it done well. Absolutely. Don't give me the ballad of Tony, whatever the fuck, done badly. I don't want that. I don't want it done badly. I want it done well. And I think Dragon Age Inquisition and the whole story arc of Dorian is an example of it done brilliantly well. Yeah, I just can climb off my soapbox there. I feel like I got to put a soapbox there. But I mean, it's an amazing example. And I think there's probably other games that have done it really well, and probably a couple that have done it pretty badly again too. Can you guys think of any that have done it amazingly or terribly?
Well, I think the Assassin's Creed Odyssey thing is a really interesting one to talk about, because from a starting point, it seemed to do a very good job of giving that option to you to be whichever way you fancy being, without impacting the story too much, and kind of like having that narrative there that was like, you found these other LGBT characters and could interact with them and create relationships and everything else. But then for them to go and then throw in this necessity for Cassandra or Alexio to have a child just completely ruined that. And I completely understand it, because the story that they're telling is connected into other characters, and the Assassin's Creed narrative going forward is all about taking genetic memory and living those past events and everything else. Like, if you're going to tell a story that carries on that person's like odyssey and bloodline and everything else, at some point they're going to have a kid. But did you have to make it part of a heterosexual relationship? If
I don't know, can't you clone them, or like alien butt probes or something?
Maybe, I don't know.
They're writers. Come up with something.
I think the writers need to really think about their characters before they're doing these stories, and kind of go, if we're going to try and continue this and there's going to be a point where she's going to need a kid, then maybe we shouldn't put that option in there and just keep it as being a heterosexual playthrough. I think it goes back to that whole thing of like, for me now, what needs to happen in video games is, yes, have that quote-unquote choice there, but it needs to be done in such a way that when you go down that path, that everything else thereafter folds into the story, so the people that you're romancing with also have that connection and are from that community. You're not just flipping a switch, press A to B.
Make it genuine.
Yeah. And then your own story needs to then fold into that. So, maybe if we're in a different age with how they make video games now. You've got SSDs, you've got wonderful ways of making games, so they can have these two branching narratives, or 3 or 4 or 5, whatever it is, how many different ways they want to put the cake. Like, they can do that and say, once we know that this player in the script is going to go down X path, then we know that our main protagonist story then needs to then fold in those ideas. Then maybe you come across, I don't know, I play a character in RPG, male, find romancing male who is gay to have romancing thing with, and then maybe my story then changes, my backstory, as it's then been told out to say, or this happened to me, or this is my life, this I did growing up in being gay and being queer and all the rest of it, rather than just being a vessel of like you put all of your thoughts and feelings into it and everybody else has to kind of react to it. Never really get that person's true story, if that makes.
I get that. My question though, I mean, and I didn't, forgive me, I didn't finish Odyssey.
Yeah.
So it takes place in ancient Greece.
Yes.
So I guess there's some times where we put like our own modern spin on things that are, I mean, and I don't know the full narrative. Like, I mean, he has to have a child. I mean, so, and I don't know, like if like obviously that, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but we also, force, not force, but we say we're asking sometimes for them to put our own modern lifestyle into games where, like, cause I mean, Origins, didn't have any, I don't think it had any representation at all, actually. No, none that I can think of. But I mean, that was in ancient Egypt, and a lot of it followed, the traditions and the responsibilities of ancient Egypt, and it's the same thing with Valhalla. Although Valhalla is a little bit, I don't know, it's a little pushier than Origins for sure. But for Odyssey, and there was something about Odyssey when I was playing through. It didn't, I loved Origins, I loved it, and I love Valhalla, but something about Odyssey, and maybe that's why there was something that was inherently not great about it. But do you know what I'm getting at? I guess is
100%. So the where the whole story issue comes from is that Cassandra / Alexio ends up being the grandfather or great grandmother of Bayak's wife in Origins.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So so there had to be that bloodline following through for them to to have a child. And you're perfectly right in saying back in ancient Greece times, yes, they were a bit more liberal, hanky-panky wise, but there's no way of knowing whether a same-sex couple having a child was something that would happen back then, okay or not or whatever. So it's not like they're gonna perform voodoo magic and make a baby out of nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's one of those things. But if they must have known when writing Odyssey that Cassandra / Alexia was going to be the great grandparent of I've completely forgotten name now.
What?
It's going to come to me. Aya.
No.
I haven't played any of these games.
You should.
Yeah,
they're good.
They're really good games. So Aya is the wife. So if they knew at that point Aya would be grandchild, great grandchild, whatever it was, 3 times removed from Cassandra or Alexios, why give the player that option to build relationships in that way? I think there's a difference between your old hanky-panky, which there's quite a lot of that in the game, but there are options for you to then maybe take that relationship a little bit further with some MCP. Why not just keep it to a hanky-panky thing? Like
right. If there's in other words, if there's an end game, like then don't let me go down this path that's going to abruptly end, right? Yeah, exactly. And maybe that's part of the learning for the developers. I mean, and I think they might be slowly learning it, and maybe, but I get that. Yeah, you go down this one path, and suddenly it's like, nope. I'm glad you built all that, but
it's strange as well. Like the different vibes you get from characters. So I'm playing Valhalla as well. I've not got to the end of it. I'm probably like halfway through or something. But I played as female. So I played as Let the Animus Decide, which automatically starts you off as female, and then later on things happen. But I always kind of got the vibe off Eivor that she was just like this sexy, powerful being that was like, hey, if I want you, I'm going to have you. So like I've very much been very bisexual with this playthrough. Like, so like when she comes across like a woman she's interested in, she'll go for it. She comes across a guy that she's interested in, she'll go for it. And I think that's a really cool thing. I don't know if it was intentional, but I did get this vibe off her that she's like just a very sexual being and like
free for all. Yeah.
Just free for all, which is cool. So if they'd written Cassandra / Alexios in the same way, then this whole thing of him having a child or her having a child, I don't think would have been a massive issue if it was just there from the beginning. Like, hey, there's no relationships, but both these characters, it's ancient Greece, they used to like to get a bit freaky in the old bathhouse, like, so just crack on and do whatever it is that you want. and then they feed their narrative in wherever they want to, and then there's no issue. But I think it becomes an issue when you promise something to somebody or allude to something to somebody, and then you can't fulfill it through to the end.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
Ancient Greece.
What a
I
time
think
to be
it was
alive.
warm back there. Like, I think of all them togas and things, and I would hate to be cold all the time. So I feel like it would need to be really warm all the time, because you don't see like winter coats.
In the Mediterranean all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe? I don't know.
I mean,
I mean, that's not
I'd love to
winter.
go back to ancient Greece, but I'd like to take modern like grooming standards with us. Like just time
Be
traveling
really
back with like, you know, my Nivea face creams and shit.
Yeah, I'm not putting crocodile poop up my vag. That's for sure.
On a bit of string.
Yeah. Also, they didn't have tampons either. What was the crack with that? What did they do for tampons? I don't remember. I don't want to know.
Go to Rome and just
Beardy, Google it.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Right. So are there any, I think we maybe have talked about it a little bit, but are there any games you think that have just done it fucking amazingly in terms of romance?
Well, I think the first one we've already gone through is Dragon Age Inquisition. Romance is fun, but I'd rather focus on things like Life is Strange, Gone Home, The Last of Us, where it's an actual story about that person, because it's all well and good being able to, you know, stick your toad in the hole, sort of speaking, but like, if you're not going to tell me a meaningful story at the same time and show a truth that we all share as queer people, like, you know, it just goes back to like, press A to put hat on, wear jacket, change hairstyle. Like, those true narrative things need to be in there somewhere as well.
I think there's value. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, I think I agree. I think for me, the stories where the romance is done really well are the narrative stories. You know, not the shooters where there's a cutscene in between where you can romance somebody and get a cutscene of you in your underwear rolling around on the bed, sort of thing. And in those narrative stories, I think the one recently that I really, really liked was probably Tell Me Why, where I got to romance Michael. Oh, he was so cute. We get to play both of the twins in different option or different areas of the game. But in a lot of the areas you get to play oh god, I forget his name, but you get to play the trans male twin.
Yeah.
And he is so fucking amazing. I would die for him too. And when he's like flirting with Michael and he holds his hand, and then when you like, should you kiss him or should you not kiss him? And it's all like, and because you're in the narrative and you can kind of read the other guy and you can tell whether it's reciprocal or not, whether he's into it or not, it becomes a lot less about putting it on him, like forcing it on him, and more about, is he into it? Is this mutual? And it becomes way more sweet. And oh my god, I was so into it. And I was sad when the story ended because I really wanted to see where things were going with me and Michael. So I thought that one was done really well.
I haven't had a chance to play Last of Us 2. I've heard mixed reviews. I mean, it's only on PlayStation, so as Xboxers can't really play it. But I've watched a lot about it, and actually, an actress I really like plays, I think, her love interest. So, you know, I've heard good things about it, but I haven't, you know, other than that. And there's, I think, Mass Effect has done some work and done some good work. But I mean, as far as narratives, I mean, you know, a lot of it is just, for me, I've seen just, you know, representation and options. You know, I mean, you know, that's pretty much, you know, no one's told them the amazing story yet that I know of. You know, that I've witnessed. I mean, you know, but then again, not every story needs to. And I think that's important. You know, I mean, you know, I was thinking through about some of my favorite games. I mean, BioShock has nothing that I really remember. I mean, you know, and there's other games where there's, you know, I mean, even Fallout doesn't do a great job. but not every game needs it, but I'm, as far as that, I mean, it's more, I guess, just representation. And I think sometimes that's what matters, that also will build to and work towards, games with good relationships. I'm looking especially to Overwatch. I know, that has actually changed a lot of young kids' lives. The fact of having a strong female character there that has, those romantic entanglements with others. Borderlands, I love, I love everything about Borderlands. So, and then all the romances that are there, and Tiny Tina, thinking all the girls are hot. So, I mean, there's good stuff. But I think it's just going to be a matter of more is coming. That's what I think of. Otherwise, everyone just sits on their Sims and they make the romances for themselves.
I'd love it. I think I completely agree with it. From being a late 90s, early 90s gamer all the way up to today, seeing the landscape change so much has been really great. And like we spoke about last week, I will always thank The Sims for just allowing me to have a slice of normality, of not feeling a bit weird about myself, being able to have these queer relationships and stuff, and not have the game shouting at me in some sort of way to tell me it was wrong, or making choices, all that kind of stuff. And I could build that little lifestyle. So I'll always be grateful for games like this. I think it is great that we have gone more and more from seeing things as being a choice to having them more woven in with the storytelling. And it is super important to have queer representation, or representation in general, in any video game that's going to be consumed by the masses. Just if that one character is in there that's queer or black, or a minority, or whatever it is, disability, everything that these things that don't normally get showcased, that one character's there and helps one person feel better about themselves, then the game's done its job. The character's done its job. But I think the same thing as Faith to some extent, and I am still waiting though for that one game that really just makes that narrative does its own thing. It doesn't have to be in every game, doesn't have to be everywhere, and not shoving the gay agenda down people's throats here, but to have just one story of I don't know, IO Interactive at the minute is working on a James Bond game. If we could play through that whole James Bond game and it'd be I don't know, 3/4 of the way in, we find out the new James Bond that they've created is a queer character, that would be amazing, because it wouldn't need to be something that's solely focused on, but it's just hey, this person's gay. That would be nice to have that kind of main protagonist person in a AAA space, in something that's going to be played by hundreds of thousands of people, but it's just a normality thing.
The anti-announcement.
Yeah, exactly. They don't need to paint it on the walls and fly flags in his apartment or anything like that, but just to have a character where that story's there, but it's not made a deal out of. Just like in some ways with The Last of Us, Ellie's being a lesbian in the first game wasn't really spoken about until the DLC came around, Left Behind, and that was handled in such a beautiful way, of this kind of young girl coming to terms with friendship and feelings and stuff for her significant other at the time, and then going into Last of Us 2 and seeing her relationship with Dina kind of blossom and all those good things that happened there. It was amazing, because it wasn't, the main story was about Ellie and Joel and her importance in that world and everything else that's going on in the world, the Fireflies and all the rest of it. It was just this kind of this is just a normal thing. We don't need to focus on it. It's there. These things happen, and it's cool. That's all I really want. Is I don't need somebody to come out, YMCAing on the front in the first 10 minutes of the game to tell me that they're a queer character. But to find it out eventually, that's perfect, because that's what life's like. You meet people every day and you don't know everything about them. At some point, you're going to find out they're a raging mo like me. But it is what it is.
Wait.
Life.
You're gay?
Wait. Sorry,
wait, hold on. This is a gay podcast? I'm fucking out of here.
Yep. Did the rainbows not give it away?
Shit. Thought you were supporting the NHS.
Oh shit.
I went there, bitch.
Oh, fucking hell. Where's Boris?
No, I think you're right though. I think it's important it's important to say that I'm not petitioning the government and saying I want every type of representation in every type of game. That's not what I'm saying. And I don't think that's what people in general are saying. What I am saying is there should be more space for more games to tell more stories. There should be more stories told, just in general. And I think that's where a lot of indie developers come in, being able to tell that story. And, AAA developers tell more stories, tell better stories. I don't know, develop your stories better, CD Projekt Red.
Did you ever play Borderlands 3?
I downloaded it when we were doing the thing, and then I played it the once and got lost, and then we'd moved on to another game by then. Our crew goes through games so quickly. Sometimes I can't keep up.
I always return to Borderlands, but Guns, Love, and Tentacles is the marriage of two male characters, and they're not. You don't play them, but they're NPCs. But it's kind of epic and amazing. So I mean, I just remembered how amazing that was, and that was a great story to tell. Just recently done, actually. I mean, and it's called Guns, Love, and Tentacles. So what's to not to love?
Anything with tentacles, and I'm there. Anything.
Yeah.
I've got a fun. So we'll close out this segment then with a fun video game fact for you. Do you know what is the very first video game to allow same-sex marriages in 1998?
I think I do.
I'm gonna say that it's probably like an Elder Scrolls game.
No, Fallout 2.
Oh. Fallout 2. It was the shotgun wedding, right?
It was the shotgun wedding in Fallout 2. It was the very first video game to allow same-sex marriages. So Todd Howard at one point was kind of cool.
At one point.
I don't know what happened after that.
Fallout 2 was not Bethesda, was it? So it would have been Todd Howard.
It wasn't Bethesda, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, that explains it, Todd.
That explains it. Yeah.
Jesus.
Fallout 2 would still be the guys that did Outer Wilds, the original creators.
Oh.
And look what happened. Look what you did, Todd.
You broke the whole thing.
You broke
all broken.
I
can't make my own fun anymore.
One last thing before we close it out.
No.
Well, it's happening.
Okay, go on then.
I think, we've had this conversation about gay characters and romancing NCPs and everything else. I'd also really like to see more trans stories.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
yes.
I feel like that is probably the one that struggles the most in this day and age, because we have so much representation on TV shows, in films, in media, and everything else. And I still think that trans people still have this kind of stigma thing. It's from this TV show that I watched as well, or documentary.
Probably thanks to the fucking Guardian over here.
More than likely. That trans people in media end up being the murdered prostitute.
Mm-hmm.
In the
sex
majority,
worker.
The sex worker that got killed, or the joke, or whatever it is. And we need to end that narrative. We need to have more conversations, more layered, nuanced characters out there in games, in media, in film, and everything else. So I'd be more than happy to take my little gay storyline plot out of the running if there was going to be a game that came out that explored that a little bit more. And like you said, with I forgot the name of the game now. You literally just talked about it.
Tell Me Why.
Tell Me Why. Yeah, something like that. Let them tell those
game.
stories and stuff. Like
another one that really needs to be talked about more and told more often is Ace. So the only video game I have ever seen Ace stories even talked about or mentioned is Outer Worlds and Parvati.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you what, I was so fucking excited when Parvati came out to me. I fucking cried. My wife was like, "Why are you crying?" And I was like, "Parvati just told me she's Ace." And she's like, "And?" I was like, No game has ever told me they're ace. I'm gonna tell her I'm ace too. I played the whole game as an ace character. I'm not ace. I've never been ace in a video game before. I was so excited to be ace in solidarity with Parvati. I sobbed for like 10 minutes in this game. I was so excited. It's a huge thing, and more games need to the stories need to be told. There are so many fucking stories in our community that need to be told so that people know that we exist, that there's just fucking there's all these colors in the rainbow and we need to be showing them.
There was once a time where games were the place for this kind of thing to happen, and it was media that caught up with the video games, and now it feels like it's the other way around, where like media's portraying these things a little bit more, and it's the games that are trying to now play catch up. We need to get the other way around again.
I kind of wonder if, and this is something I thought of when I was thinking about this topic, because you're exactly right. There's a huge void where there's no trans stories being told. But, I wonder, because you do see some characters, and unfortunately that's a stereotype, right? Because they're misunderstood, they don't understand the story. I wonder if they are behind, it's kind of like they are where we were, where like the gay, lesbian storylines were so many years ago. And I'm hopeful that, that it's just on the track of catching up and getting to where, it's like Ace, it's, they're all moving at a different pace. And they're going to get, here with us. And it's unfortunate because I would love to play a trans character. I would love to explore that storyline. I would love to see a main character as, identifying as whatever they want. There's such a spectrum. So I'm hoping that's where we're headed.
I hope so, but I think it's our job, if we're this far forward. I think our job is to just grab them fuckers by the hand, pull them up here with us, and be like, "Get the fuck out the way, bitches! We're coming through." I don't know how we're gonna do it. We're gonna Red Rover them bitches up front with us.
Well, we'll just commission another game from Sif.
He's got just add it to Sif's list.
Yeah, Sif's list of video games that he's going to create for us.
After Animal Crossing Resident Evil.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be awesome. You just wait.
Yeah.
Do you just have a big net? You catch?
I haven't got any further than that's the crossover that I want.
The intricate gaming details, shall we say.
Dig a hole, they fall in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
Cool.
I want to harvest dead things and sell them to somebody else.
That's turnips. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know, dead man's feet. Jerk them up. Sell them to somebody. Something.
You're onto something.
I think it's going to be a moneymaker.
We're sitting on a gold mine.
Oh, right. I'm getting sweaty. I got on a whole tangent there. So, what have you guys been playing this week? It's been a whole week. COD. Oh, you've moved over into COD? That's a whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So just COD people. All week? A lot of sweaty
Kyles with clutching a monster drink as they are playing with their controller, and I got you,
Are you playing on mic?
Yeah. I mean, occasionally, we're doing a little bit of cross-platform, which is different for us. Playing with some folks on the PlayStations and on the PCs, and so which then exposes you to talking to everyone in the round. So, girlfriend has been playing with me as well. Loves Prop Hunt, where you one side will pretend to be an inanimate object and hide. And then the other people have guns. They have to shoot the inanimate objects and find you and shoot you. So that's a fun. I mean, well, who doesn't want to do that?
That sounds amazing.
I want to do that. That sounds like. Can you pretend to be anything?
I don't even know what that is.
I want to be a stapler.
She's a pole. She's a pole on a boat right now, and she's hiding herself. I don't think it's going to work, but that's fine. You have to lay low, and then when they come around, you whistle every once in a while, and people come around and they shoot at you, and if they get you,
Can you control when you whistle, or it's just random whistling?
No, it's like every 30 seconds, I think. But you can throw a stun grenade at them. So if they catch on to you, you throw a stun grenade, create decoys of yourself, and then just run away. You run away, and they have to chase
as a pole.
Yes.
I really want to be a stapler.
I saw a video of this where they were in like a shooting range, and the guy was playing like the wooden board thing. He was like,
oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah,
with the rest of the
yeah,
shooting
Target.
things.
Yeah. Yeah, my best one was a life preserver where I like stuck myself to the side of the boat, and at the end I started dancing for them. I was like twirling it around, and they were all trying to shoot me, and I'm like, I'm winning. I won. I was like, yep, this is the highlight of my day. I'm a life preserver. So that's what I've been playing.
Oh, nice. And of course, it's Valentine's Day, Faith. Yes. And you found love through gaming, didn't you?
Yes, through the most romantic game, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Where you were griefing. You met your love through a griefing group, didn't you?
No, it wasn't griefing. It was it was just a girl gamer group. And we've been together for like 2 years. So it's yeah.
Oh yes, and your girlfriend is also part of our stabby crew. We have a very large stabby crew. She's also murdery.
Yes, she likes I think that's why she likes prop hunt, because you mess with people and throw grenades at them as a big pole. So she just jumped in the water. She's making it. They've caught on to her, but she's making it. So
I might have to get COD now.
Yeah, is this like the latest release of COD, or is this in the Modern Warfare online shit?
No, it's Black Ops. It's the new one. Okay. But they've had prop hunt in the past. But this new COD. So everyone that everyone Llama has gotten it. We're actually really like surprised.
Is this on Game Pass?
No.
Girl, it's not on sale.
It was on sale though, at least. But we were actually really surprised. It's very different from the rest of the franchise. Like, I hate war games. But this one, zombies, everything's really fun. So we're really surprised.
Okay.
I'll let you know. I'm gonna let you know when it's like
on Game Pass,
$20 or on Game Pass. But what are you guys playing?
I've just been playing Destiny, which we've already spoken about my amazing Twitch streaming career and how well that's going. But yeah, this week it's just been working. We built a log storage box with a roof for storing logs.
Fancy.
That's very fancy.
Oh, and I started a fundraiser to walk 10,000 steps a day for 30 days. And it is 8:00 at night. Do you know how many steps I've done already today?
10.
2,000. So my ass is going to be on the treadmill for like 8 fucking hours after this podcast. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
What you should do is like let the dogs out to the toilet, and it's a little bit disgusting, but at the same time you'll get there, right? So let them out into the toilet in the backyard, but don't pick it up straight away. Leave it till the end of the day, and then do some sort of like weird, like circuit run where you have to like run and pick it up and then run back to the point. Like, no.
So.
No. Okay, maybe not.
Just walking on the treadmill sounds a lot less disgusting. Okay. But thanks for your help, Beardy.
There was a fitness app, Llama, where it was something about zombies, where the zombies were chasing you, and you were
I've got that.
Okay, do that.
Yeah. Zombies Run. I've got that.
It actually freaked me out. Zombies Run. That's what it was. Yeah,
it's really good. Back before I was a lazy bitch, I used to use that when I was running, and I'd run through. I live in Milton Keynes, and I would run early in the mornings in the summer, so the sun comes up stupid fucking early here in the summer. Like 3:00 in the morning, the sun comes up. Mm-hmm. And so I'd be up to run at 6, and I'd run through the city center, and all like the pop-up shops would be out, but not open yet. So it looks like an abandoned city. So you're running through what looks like an abandoned city with zombies fucking chasing you in your headphones, and they're getting closer. Oh! And I'm like, fucking shit, fucking waiting for them to pop out from the side. So I had to stop running through the city because it scared me in the morning. So yeah, no, I'm just walking because I'm a lazy bitch. So no more running.
Okay, well, it was a thought.
But yeah, I'm on day 3. That might be by day 10. I might be doing that. I'm working on it.
She's doing it. She's doing things.
I'm doing the ting-tings. Beardy, what you been doing?
Well, so I kind of fallen into a Soulsborne hole. So
there's worse holes you could fall in, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So for Faith's background knowledge, obviously, I was always really shit at Soulsborne games. I would always
He's
buy
still
them.
kind of shit.
Yeah. I would always buy them and be like, this is the time that I'm going to do it. And then I'd play for like half an hour and I'd be like, this game is shit. Like, I hate it. I don't know why I wasted my money. And then last week or the week before, I decided to try Dark Souls 3 again for some bizarre reason. I don't know why, but I was like, I'm just going to do it. And no, it was because Demon Souls has come out on PS5, and I was doing this thing again. I've been like, oh, it looks so pretty. I want to buy it and play it. And I'm like, oh no, because it's going to be horrible and you're not going to like it. I was talking to Sif, and I basically made a deal with myself that I was going to complete Dark Souls 3. And if I could complete Dark Souls 3, then I would allow myself to buy Demon Souls. So I jumped back into it, and all of a sudden I'm soulsing. So I think I'm two bosses. Yeah, I'm soulsing. So I'm 2 bosses away from the end. Like,
oh shit!
Yeah, like I'm really far into Dark Souls 3. And I've done it in. So I've generally looked at people's things and heard different podcasts and stuff over the years about it. And general consensus is like 60, 70, 80 hours, all the way up to like 120 if you're that much of a weirdo. And I go for it. At the minute, I'm on 44 hours, so I think I've done actually really well to kind of get as far as I did. Like, so I'm like, yeah, cool. But then I re-downloaded Bloodborne, which is another From Software game, but it's a little bit easier in the fact that when you get attacked, you have like this window to regain your health if you're aggressive. So the playstyle in Dark Souls is more defensive and more timed of like, wait for them to attack and then use your shield, try and parry, all that kind of stuff. Whereas Bloodborne rewards you for being more aggressive. So like if you get hurt, as long as you get those hits in quickly before they land another strike on you, you can gain your health back. And the parry system is a lot easier, so you have a gun rather than a shield. It's like Victorian kind of...
Just like smack them in the face with it.
Yeah, so it's all about werewolves. Yeah, so werewolves have taken over and it's like that kind of thing. I'm trying to think of the name of Lovecraftian. There we go, that's the word I was looking for.
Right, okay. Obviously.
So the werewolves come for you, and the parry system works where if you time it right, you shoot the gun and it stuns them, and then that allows you to get your riposte in and take a load of health and stuff off them or whatever. So I've been playing that on stream, which has been really good. And then I found Dark Souls on sale, the remastered version, for £10. So I was like, well, I might as well buy that. So I started playing that as well. And then
the first one.
The first one. So now I've got all these Soulsborne games that I'm like dropping in and out of and playing and just having a really cool time. So I'm really happy.
That sounds super exciting. It sounds super hard. I'm not excited.
It is.
I mean, I'm excited for you.
Yeah. It is really hard, but like...
Dark Souls is hard.
I just a completely different mindset this time around. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm getting it this time. Fuck knows. My brain has changed in lockdown. I'm becoming a new person. Maybe, I don't know. And yeah, and it's working. Like, the frustration's gone when I die. First time I'm playing it, usually when you play Dark Souls, you die, you're like, fuck's sake, this game's hard. Like, it's unfair, yada, yada, yada. But it's... what you actually learn is you died because it was your mistake, not the game's mistake. Like, the game's doing what it's supposed to be doing, but you just weren't. It's like a really strange way of thinking about things, but like once you kind of get that in your head and realize like the reason you died is because you got too cocky or confident, or you dodged the wrong way or whatever it is, like it's a bit like a game of chess. Weirdly.
See, I just go, I died because I'm supposed to. I get zen about it. I'm like, I'm supposed to die. Yeah. It's like when you're playing a bloodied build character in a game. You're like, you die a lot. It's fine. Just accept it.
Right.
You die.
Yeah. You eat a piece of fruit and you died because it's just too much.
I've only got 2 points of health. That's how I play. It's fine.
Yeah. I like it here. This is my life.
I have 2 points of health, but 27 billion points of damage per shot. It's fine.
Used to until they nerfed that.
Womp womp. Womp womp. Okay, so I think that is it. Unless we've had any amazing fan mail come through. Anyone wanting to... any scam mail?
Today.
Nothing?
Let me have a look, actually.
No one loving us from...
No one wants to transfer £80 million into our bank account as long as we send them £250 first?
Oh, I do.
Fucking hell.
I do have a spam email from
Yes!
Miss Salma Malik. Please, I need your help.
Let's help her.
Um,
We're all about helping here.
so
It's like Jim will fix it, but Llama will fix
I'm going to
it.
read it out to you.
Less touching.
So from Miss Salma Malik, she says, "Hello, dearest one. How are you today? Please accept my sincerest apologies if my email does not meet your business or personal ethics. I really like to have a good relationship with you, and I have a special reason why I decided to contact you because of the urgency of my situation here. I came across your email contact prior to a private search while in need of your assistance. I am Miss Salma Malik, single girl. I am 24 years old from Libya, and I am presently in St. Christopher's Parish for refuge in Burkina Faso under the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. I lost my parents in the recent war with Libya. Right now, I am in Burkina Faso. Please save my life. I am in danger and need your help transferring my inheritance. My father has left me behind the Bank of Burkina Faso. Here."
She had me for a little bit. She had me.
She had me, yeah. I have every necessary document for the fund. All I need is a foreigner who will stand as a foreigner partner to my father's benefactory to the fund.
Aw, I don't think we can help her.
Yes.
Have you seen the show? I think it's on BBC Three. You probably haven't seen it, Faith, but it's on BBC Three called Famalam, where they've got the Nigerian prince who's trying to email everybody to get people to help him do it. And he's like, "Why will nobody answer me?"
Yeah.
He's so angry all the time, like, trying to give his money away. It's great.
Yeah. Well, we've got some money here. So the money deposit to the bank is US dollars 10.5 million. I just need this fund to be transferred to your bank account so that I can come over to your country and complete my education. As you know, that my country has been in deep crisis due to the war.
But does she mean your country or my country or Faith's country? Like, which? Really, she needs to be more specific.
Well,
right.
This is an international show.
She needs to think about it because at the end of the day, like 10.5 million in US dollars, maybe.
Yeah, or British pounds.
Well, if she comes to the Britain,
what's the exchange rate?
The exchange rate, she's got to think about these things. Like,
also, as an American, I've got to pay double tax on shit.
Yeah.
Especially if it's over that threshold.
So she says, she ends it with, again, I have nobody. All of my family were killed in the war. If you're interested to save me and help me receive my inheritance fund into your bank account with the utmost good faith, please get back to me for further details.
Oh, that's sad.
Delete.
That's sad.
Oh well.
Thank you. Bye. So no fan mail.
No
then.
fan mail.
Guys.
No.
So if you want to send us some fan mail, you can send us some fan mail at gamersassemble@gmail.com. That's gamers spelled GAYMERS because we are super gay, in case you weren't aware, like I was aware until recently. Surprise, we're gay.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Yeah, I think that's it for today.
Your top is Rainbow
Llamas.
Super gay.
I love it. I love everything about it.
You should. Llamas are gay and lovely, and I like them. I don't know if you've noticed. I have a thing for llamas.
Llama sexual.
Surprise! I am a llama sexual. Oh my god, I love that. No, I changed my mind. That sounds like I've got a thing.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a thing. I wasn't gonna go in there, but yeah.
Someone edit that out.
Have you played Goat Simulator? Because I'm pretty sure you can be a llama in that.
No, but there is that llama game. The Llama Apocalypse game that I need to play. Yes, that one is on sale, and I am going to play that. Yes, so Llama Apocalypse, definitely going to play that. I think it's time for closeout. I think that's where we're at now, guys.
Is that where you just shut off the Xbox?
Yeah, I'm just going to turn everything off now.
I'm just going to turn the computer off.
Right.
I'm going to pull the plug for my PC.
Oh, you just turn it all off.
Where's the fuse box?
So you can find us on all of the social media channels as normal. We are at Gaymers Assemble, spelled the gay way. We are on Twitch and YouTube and Spotify and iTunes and really all the cool places where the cool kids are at. You will find us because we are, of course, the cool kids. That is it from us tonight. Say goodnight, Beardy.
Good night, Beardy.
Say goodnight, Faith.
Good night, Faith.
Good night, Llama. Bye.
Bye.